super, super excited to be here with you. I've been a huge fan of modern wisdom for absolutely years. When I think about all the money I've spent listening to your podcast on cold plunges and
Liquid
saunas and
cooled mattress toppers and
yeah,
yeah,
hormone
yeah, yeah.
replacement therapy, the whole thing.
Okay, good, good, good.
You've done almost 1,000 of these. Like, how do you keep it all straight?
If I hadn't numbered them, I don't think I would have known that I'd done 1,000. How? Look. I love what I do. There's nothing that I want to do more at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday than speak to some dusty academic with a unpronounceable surname. Like that's my idea of a good time. So I do what I like, and curiosity has always driven me forward. I guess like that.
Well, see, like I watch your guests as like clips, and I'm like, well, Huberman said this, so I'm down this path, and Peter Attia said that, so I'm on that path. Like, how do you integrate all that feedback into your life?
Yes, sometimes the experts don't agree, and sometimes there's a lot to implement at once, and that can be difficult. I look, everybody's got a life to live outside of optimizing themselves. So I think just allowing whatever sticks, whatever feels good. At the
Yeah.
moment, I'm really enjoying doing zone 2 stuff. So I'm spending maybe 3 or 4 sessions a week doing 145 BPM incline walking at like a, good clip. All right, and I'll get bored of that in 6 months and I'll move on to something else.
Sure.
I think trying to over optimize results in you feeling really stressed, which is way worse than whatever you weren't optimizing before anyway. So the stress of trying to be perfect will kill you more quickly than the actual imperfections would. Trying to let go of that has been something that I've had to work on.
Well, it's also like an evolution. Like I spent my 40s doing Ironman triathlon, and I realized, well, I'm just skinny fat. Now I need to build muscle. So now I got to do this, and now I got to try that. And
Correct. Yeah, the pendulum continues to swing back and forth.
yeah, for sure. How much of it is nutrition, and how much of it is the stuff, like the red light therapy and the sauna and all that stuff?
For me personally, it's almost all sleep and training. I can out sleep and out train a bad diet, but I can't out eat bad sleep.
Yeah.
So for me, if I've got this little line, which is there's no such thing as being overworked, only underrested. And I truly believe that that's correct. I've never found a time where I felt burnt out or broken when I haven't been undersleeping.
Sure.
There's no amount of work that's too much if I get 8 hours, literally.
So I started wearing a Whoop because we need metrics, right? Like I got to track stuff. And then I realized, well, I'm the king of sleep. Like if I could be a competitive sleeper,
Yep.
I could be the king of sleep.
But if you don't know how long you're asleep for, you can't compete on, right? But everybody thinks that they're getting 8 hours. Well, you were in bed for actually 7:15 and you've got an 88% efficiency. So that's actually 6.5. So that 8 hours of sleep that you get per night is 6.5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, see, that's the stuff that drives me nuts. That's the stuff that drives me nuts. Let's talk about Neutonic. So you're a guy who sees everything. You're a guy who talks to everybody. What was the inspiration for Neutonic?
I really wanted a product that was evidence-based, efficacious, fully dosed, science-backed, and ready to go and tasted good with no sugar. And it literally didn't exist. There's nothing that has this formulation that existed. And before I sat down to do a podcast, I need something to dial me in. And it would be nice to give my guests something as well. They're a bit tired. They've got off a plane or whatever. And the podcast that I made is the one that didn't exist and I wanted to listen to, and Neutonic is the drink that I wanted to consume and didn't exist, so I made as well myself. My entire career has been very selfish. It's been me creating things for me, and apparently there's some non-insignificant niche that also wants it, and now the goal is to grow it as much as possible.
Yeah, no, I love it. So for me personally, I gave up alcohol and focusing on 250 grams of protein a day. And I'm trying to feed this caffeine monkey.
Yep.
And I really love the Cognizant. I really love what it does for me. Like how judicious were you when you looked through the ingredient panel?
Oh my God. Where's Harry? So
I aged about 10 years in that process.
I slowly killed our VP by just, I'm very unrelenting. It sounds wonderful, right? To hear me on a podcast and I'm paying attention and I'm asking questions.
You're so present.
But to be in an intimate working relationship with me is kind of like being, I imagine it's like BDSM. You're sort of strapped down, whipped into submission. There's a ball gag somewhere. And look, we were so unrelenting that I've made him do another literature review this year.
50-page deck on
And
every nootropic.
to make sure that we're still sort of cutting edge, because as far as I can see, the world is very scrutinous about what's in supplements now, super scrutinous, and you can't just roll out a proprietary blend fairy dust thing, because people know evidence-based community is the hottest thing in the world at the moment. And if you put out also, James Smith has accumulated a lot of enemies over his career in fitness.
Well, he looks like it. He's got those cauliflower ears, but he looks like he can take care of himself.
Well, he can take care of himself physically, but he's accumulated a lot of sort of karmic enemies on the internet because he's called everybody out. And what that meant was that there was an additional level of scrutiny that we had on our backs, that there were people with axes to grind.
He's
that were
throwing
ready.
stones, yeah.
Absolutely. James has caused
Can't
so
be
many
the glass
problems
house.
that we were like, if we've got one tiny error, and the number of evidence-based reviews, science-based reviews, and even the people that really hate him, the worst thing that they were able to come back and say is, he's done all right with it. And for everybody else, they were like, actually, really, really impressive. These guys have obviously done the research and know what they're doing. So we spent a ton of time putting this blend together, and for me, it's the best. I would use something else if it was better. I care more about my performance than anything, and it didn't exist, so we made it.
So I got to purple belt jiu-jitsu. That's why I'm really impressed by James. How did you and James team up on this?
I wanted to make an RTD nootropic because there wasn't one. I had the idea in my mind. I spoke to Luke, who is my tour manager, who is James's manager, and said, mate, do you know, I've been thinking about this idea. I don't know, I was just floating it around. He said, you do know that James is doing that, and we've actively had 2 meetings already about it over the last few months. I said, no, should we, do you want to, it's like that scene in Step Brothers where they were like, did we just become best friends? It's like, did we just become business partners?
Yeah.
And we became business. It was the most seamless collaboration. James is the yin to my yang. He is very laissez-faire, and I am very obsessive. And between us, it's actually an oddly well-working, well-balanced relationship.
That's fun. I have a partner like that. And when you can sort of balance each other out and fill in each other's gaps, it's a huge, huge difference. So this thing's incredible, but it can't be the end. What's next for Neutonic?
How much can I say, Harry? Am I allowed to talk about?
You can say about the things coming in.
Okay. So we're doing creatine. We're doing creatine 6.
Amazing.
That is naturally sweetened. The flavoring is unbelievable. Letting go of artificial sweeteners. I don't have an issue with artificial sweeteners. I think that the concerns around them are overblown, but I understand that some people prefer not to, and there are some people who do have GI upset. So we decided to move into it. Letting go of it was always going to be a tough thing, but to move into natural sweeteners and make it taste as good as we have is unbelievable. So the stick packs are there. Can I say where we're going with them or no? Okay, so it looks like we're going to be straight into Whole Foods in California.
Incredible.
Which will be great.
SoPac.
Was speaking to Central Market is already locked off in Texas. HEB, it looks like, would be a straight roll from there. In the UK, we are going into retail a lot. So the push at the moment is the creatine thing is going to be massive. The flavoring's great. The stick packs are fantastic. The campaign that we've done for it, which we came up with in the space of 24 hours, we decided, ideated, scripted, shot in 24 hours in Austin, Texas. And it's a scene from The Godfather. From Scarface and Godfather sort of put
Both have
together.
Pacino.
And there's a huge pile of white powder in front of me, and James comes in and he's this sort of like Cockney wide boy, mate. And don't you worry about it. I've got third-party testing. And he puts his glasses down and he goes, and I do know a place. Puts them back on. And it's brilliant. Campaign's fun, and it tastes wonderful. I think creatine is... I'm using literally an amount that's like in the double digits of grams per day.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, is what's the sweet spot for creatine?
For me,
5 grams, 10 grams, 20 grams?
10 is good. This week I've been sleep deprived, so I've probably put 15 in me a couple of days. 20 grams of creatine, you're really cranking it there.
Do you think you're retaining a lot of water at 20 grams?
Probably, but
As at 10, I can't get my rings on.
Yeah, a little bit. That does happen. However, I care more about my performance than my jawline, so...
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, this thing's incredible. Thank you so much for coming to Beverage Forum. I mean, this event is around sort of getting deals done and founders and creators, and really appreciate you showing up.
No, me too. This is wonderful. You guys have crushed it today. It looks great on stage, so congratulations, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.